The Joe Rogan Experience.
It's a great time for me to be in the middle of a tour because
Yes.
I have missed it all. I'm doing
That's
5
good.
shows a week, and I'm so in the vortex of touring.
Yeah, good.
We do that old school rock and roll shit, so we really do play 5 shows a week for 12, 13 weeks, you know?
That's amazing.
It's awesome, dude.
But again, that's why you're so comfortable up there.
Yeah.
You're so just...
Yeah. It reeks of a man that's done 1,000 shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep,
It's like when you see a comedian up there really comfortable. It's like when I watched Attell at the Comedy Cellar, when he leaned back on the wall,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's finna kill. When he just walked straight up and leaned back. And then he calls Ian up, and Ian's just throwing, just shit at him. And he's just lighting Ian on fire. It was so good, man.
Yeah, that's a good hammer and nail, the two of those guys together, too. He did that at the club here,
Yeah,
too.
dude, I feel like it reminds me of like the early phases of like a bumping mics thing, like a new version of that.
Right.
Because when him and Jeff Ross are together, it's like when David Lucas and Tony are firing on each other. I feel the exact same way when Jeff Ross and Dave Attell are near each other.
Yeah.
I get that same excited feeling of like, ooh, some shit's finna pop off. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, when David and Tony go after each other, there's like hours on the internet of just David and Tony shitting on each other. There's 100,000 ways David can call Tony gay.
yeah, and he's called David 100,000 ways to be fat. It's just.
And so also the way they laugh at each other doing it. Like, if this is a simulation, man, we picked a really good one.
Yeah, it's getting cooler and cooler.
Elon believes it's a simulation. He's a lot smarter than me.
Yeah.
He thinks the odds that it's not a simulation are in the billions.
Really?
Yeah, in the billions, he said.
Wow. I'm telling you, dude, there's a little dude that nobody believes it. He's going to school every day like, my Minecraft dude is killing it.
Do you get that imposter syndrome thing ever?
Oh, man, so much. I'm somewhere between feeling extremely uncomfortable where I'm at in my career right now or overly comfortable where I'm at in my career. So I'm either having to catch myself and go, whoa, big fella.
Right.
Come on now, dog. You were just in jail 10. You were people that knew you 6 years ago hate you still. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then I have situations where I'm like, I don't belong here. I'm having that moment right now. This is my first album, Joe, that is gonna be in a fight for the #1 album in the world. Never dreamed. Now this is like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like,
Do you think
that's a different world?
Do you think that's maybe something that you shouldn't even think about? Because, like, your music's amazing. You're amazing. Maybe all that, just let it just exist.
No, that's what I've been, and that's
Because
how
it's so big now. It's almost like if you pay attention to it, you're going to go blind. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're kind of
that's
staring
real.
at the sun.
Yeah.
You're kind of staring at the sun. Like, it used to be you had a little campfire, and you're warming your hands because it's cold outside.
Right.
But now you're kind of staring at the sun. And maybe just be Jelly Roll.
That's what I.
Yeah.
But what's being Jelly Roll got me to the point that they're now saying I might have a #1 album.
You probably
You know what
will.
I'm saying? And then
You
you're in a place
probably
where you're
will.
like, holy fuck. And that's where the imposter syndrome comes in, because you're like, yo, I wasn't even.
That's where friends are bored.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have a Billboard Hot 100 song
Right.
until 36 months ago.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you exploded.
Yeah.
But you handle it beautifully. You really do. Because you feel like genuine gratitude. Yeah. Genuine gratitude comes off of you.
Man, thank you.
It's real.
I am true. You feel it. I mean, you know me. I'm can't believe this is happening. It's still
I
the
know
most,
you can't, but
it's
but
the
it
fucking
is.
wildest thing ever, dude.
It is
every corner.
and we deserve it.
I was just with our boy Brigham doing some blood work and getting some shit to make my feel better. I broke my heel, and we were talking about that of like living in the gratitude of it and realizing, even you saying that we're such a special simulation.
Yeah.
Like the time of this, I know I keep going back to the same point, but it's where my heart is right now, is watching me and a bunch of guys that were all at this kind of same thing at the same time 3 or 4 years ago, that you could feel the teapot bubbling, and all of us being like a little left of center. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't supposed to be in country music the way that they've embraced me. Outside looking in, you'd have never guessed.
Right.
Outside looking in, you could have never said that Kill Tony would be the #1 live podcast on the internet. You know what I mean? Or that Schultz's podcast would be, or that me and Zach Bryan would have this similar, of course he ended up being way bigger than me, but this like similar kind of were writing songs our whole life that nobody really heard, and then all of a sudden they got it's probably the craziest synergies that could have ever happened in any scenario for me in any way. And it's inspired me to get healthy. It's like gave me purpose, and I've never felt more loved. I've never felt more warmed or welcomed. I spent so much time feeling the opposite of loved, you know? Even walking in here and playing with Carl, there was a time in my life where I would have walked in here and that dog would have let y'all know I was not a good person. You know what I'm saying? That you would have just looked and be like, why is Carl acting weird with this big guy? You know what I mean? Yeah, just what's up with kids were the same way, dude. Kids would look at me and squall. You know what I mean? And it's really inspired me to start focusing on my health too, dude. I'm down 100 pounds now, officially down 100 fucking pounds.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That's really huge.
Dude,
that's a massive accomplishment.
Thank you, brother. It's been all food. I'm working out, I'm walking, but what I've learned is as I'm losing the weight, it's inspiring me to just
keep going.
By nature, I want to go walk and do more stuff because I'm lighter. I feel better. So
Sure.
when the homie's like, you want to go play basketball? We're playing basketball 3 days a week now.
Wow.
You want to hear the coolest act of love, Joe? I'll try not to get emotional talking about this, but my whole band has watched me fight cocaine addiction. They watched me get off coke. They watched me get off lean. They've watched me figure my life out slowly. And they knew that the last mountain for me was food. So we started putting a real structure around. I hired a real nutritionist. He's out here with me now. I mean, like, I'm only eating his food. I'm just like super with it. We're getting anything that could, you know, out of the green rooms. So I'm working out every day, walking around the arenas. And one day they have a basketball court because we're fucking playing this is insane, by the way, that I'm playing fucking NBA arenas. And like I'm playing where the fucking I'm on an Orlando Magic court. Like what the I feel I'm like a fucking fat Shaq. But so the first day it's just like me and like 3 or 4 dudes. The crew heard, dude, the next day 30. The whole crew showed up for me. And they don't, you know, these dudes they're just there because they know it's helping me kind of. So now 3 days a week we're renting basketball courts and having full-blown fucking tournaments.
Wow.
And it's been so good for me because it's like reconnecting to my childhood in this really weird way of like I grew up in a community where there were basketball courts and we would all go play. You know what I mean? It's like it's been really like it's been the best experience ever. And I'm getting to do it in like back to that weird shit. Not only are you experiencing this with your friends and people you love, and then you're doing it at the San Antonio Spurs court. And the San Antonio Spurs coach is out there giving you pointers and fucking being the referee.
That's amazing.
And you're the Sacramento Kings coach is fucking shooting with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Elon's right. This is not. This ain't real life.
No.
It can't be.
It's unreal, dude. Leaving Nationwide Arena. But I was also telling Brigham, talking about the humility too, is that I'm still nervous walking in here and we're friends. And you know, what you tell us all the time is what you told Brigham. You know what he's going to tell you? We're just 2 friends talking. I was like, I know, with 20 million motherfuckers listening, dog. I'm not falling for that. We're just 2 buddies talking shit.
Don't look at the sun.
That's it. You're right.
It's the same thing.
You know
Don't
how
look
much
at
I
the sun.
needed to hear that?
Yeah.
Especially like, because I don't get in my head about stuff, but just this week was the first time the label called and said, hey, we want to put this on your radar because it might make you want to promote the record. Mm-hmm. You might have a #1 album. And I was like, whoa, dude, this shit wasn't even in my mind. When I had a #5 album last year, you couldn't have told me I didn't have a #1 album. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I was like, fuck you.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Is this what's in that? What's in
Water.
this one?
This is coffee. That's water.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a wild experience, man. And if it's not real, boy, we picked a really good simulation.
It's been great though, man.
It's great to hear that you're on this positive track because it's all now just about momentum. It's just about staying on the course. That's what's hard for people is getting the good momentum.
Yeah, I'm building the momentum. I had a moment the other day. I was telling Schultz this. It was a really small win, but for a lifelong food addict. Joe, I was up to 550-some pounds. I was having to weigh myself at meat places. And I was telling him that I used to walk in and like a drug addict, I would scan the room and make a count of everything I could eat. You know what I mean? Like if you had like the little baby Snickers and a little thing or da-da-das and like the other day I was in my green room and somebody was in the green room and they picked up a piece of candy and said, "Did you want one of these?" Because we just got hit a dab or something. And I didn't even know the candy was in there, Joe. Because normally they get the candy, they don't put shit like that in my room. And that was the first time I was like, oh, I'm onto something. Like I'm fucking winning right now.
Right.
Like, I didn't even notice. I
didn't even
could have
scan
been
for
eating them
candy.
for 5 hours.
Right.
I didn't know. You know what I mean? I would have ate them all. I didn't even scan for candy. It's not even a thought now when I walk into places. Is there a candy dish here? You know what I mean? That used to be literally one of the first things I would look for. You know, is there a candy dish here? I've had to make so many different small habit changes, but it's been I was just telling Bubba out there, and I was telling Bruce on the way in here, I feel this good just losing 100 pounds, Joe, and I've never told my weight, but I'm going to tell it here because I want some accountability from people. I'm 420 something now, 420. And imagine I'm walking around different, talking different.
Sure.
My shoulders are setting different. I'm fucking my wife different. I'm just kind of, I'm moving different.
Bro, you probably have crazy powerful legs.
Dude, it's crazy,
I bet
Joe.
you have massive leg
I've been
muscles.
going to the gym now. Listen, dude, as much as you can fit on that thing, I'm throwing.
Of course.
Throwing. You
Think
know what
about
I'm saying?
it, man. You've been carrying around 500 pounds.
Yeah, 500 plus.
Your legs must be sturdy as fuck.
No, dude, it's...
And if you could lose weight now, you can have like super legs. If
Yeah.
you like keep going.
No, Joe, man, my goal is when I come back and do this next year, it's going to be fucking insane. Like, I've never been more dialed in. I've never cared more about it. I've never been happier.
What are you eating? Like, what has he got you eating?
Oh, dude, man, he's here. He's actually been really killing it for me. So from eating bad for so many years, my gut has just been fucked. So we've just been focusing on slowing down the gut. I'm only eating twice a day. I'm eating a fruit snack in between.
You ever do any fasting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to fast 1 day a week now, just to work on like the autophagy, so some of these skin cells, so I won't be I don't want to be saggy. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to lose that kind of weight.
Do you know that story about that one dude that went on nothing but a vitamin IV drip for
a year and lost 200-something pounds?
I think he lost 300 pounds.
Yeah, I've watched
Didn't he
that
lose
story.
like 300 pounds? Something crazy like that. The dude had no food for you and his fat shrunk, but his skin shrunk too.
Yeah, that's what happens. It's called, somebody told me, and I could have the name wrong here, y'all, but it's called autophagy. Have you heard of this?
I think autophagy is
Ain't that where the
when
skin cells?
I think your body gets rid of all bad cells. This is like something that comes with fasting.
Yeah.
Bad cells is definitely the scientific version of it,
Yeah.
but I think
the way they explained it to me is that has something to do with the how do you say
elasticity.
Elasticity of the skin, and that it's what helps. So that's why we're 1 day a week, at least every other week, I'm just taking a full 24 hours. But I'm only eating probably 8 or 9 hours a day now anyway, so I'm kind of intermittent anyway.
That's the real bummer when people lose a lot of weight is that you got all this extra skin. Like Ethan Suplee, he had to have all that shit cut and stitched up.
I've listened to that podcast with him twice in the last 90 days.
Really?
Y'all's full 3-hour podcast, his first here. Just to kind of, I love the way he thinks.
Yeah.
It's just,
He's a
anytime-
brilliant guy.
Yeah, for me, I'm always looking for like inspiration. As a songwriter, we're always writing a song. As a comedian, you're always looking for a joke. You know what I mean? So that kind of I'm always looking for that. So when I found that pod, I was like, oh, this dude, and he kind of did what I would. How he looks now is a dream scenario for me. He didn't get like crazy big, but he doesn't look like saggy sick. Because sometimes when you go from being as big as we've gotten, you get down to 300 pounds and people start looking at you like, are you okay? And you're like, I'm fucking better than I've ever been. You know what I mean?
They're worried.
Yeah, they're worried, but they just couldn't imagine. You know what I mean? Even when I just told, I always forget his name, but your guy out there, the archer guy, worked at the archery store, great guy. But I was just telling him that same thing, same concept.
Yeah, if you just keep going, it'll become normal for you to not eat candy, normal for you to eat healthy food. It'll be what you crave.
Lots of protein, lots of bone broth, kind of potatoes. Anything that we're doing, whether it's rice or bone broth, we're not doing a lot of it, but when we do it, we're soaking it in bone broth, keeping it really clean protein style, kind of going low on fats to kind of let my liver kind of reset from just years of me eating fatty foods and shitty greasies. You know what I mean? So just been kind of taking it slow, man. I'm enjoying it though. The cool thing is he did Bilal Muhammad's weight cut. He's worked with DC. This guy's I found him from that world. So he really gets it, and
that's a complicated science.
Yeah.
You get those guys like Bilal's way over 170. I don't know what he weighs, but I got to guess he's close to 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And he cuts down to 170 perfectly.
Yeah, Ian does it every time. Said it's pretty effortless, man. Ian says that out of everybody that Bilal is just insanely disciplined. You know what I mean? Like when he goes into camp, he's like a different dude.